Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to our session, Meet the Global Leader. This webinar is organized by School of Entrepreneurship Development. I'm with you, host Mahbub, and the main objective of this session is to share the professional journey of international leader to know more about how they do things. It's basically focusing this webinar is for university going students who are based in Bangladesh, so that they can understand how different professionals are, how did they start, their campus to professional journey, like different phases of their career and the skills they have developed, how they're using their skills, how they're seeing their life and professional life, so that it is a great opportunity for them sitting here in Bangladesh to learn someone's professional journey in another country. So today we have welcomed Dr. Agnese, who is actually a social scientist and communication specialist. So through her professional journey, we're going to learn a lot from her. So just to just to share a little bit about her, she's a PhD, she's doing PhD, and she's a socialist and communication specialist. She's specialized in youth, children, health, digital skills, and so on. And let's learn more from her. So Dr. Anis, welcome to our session.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you. Yes, as Mahbub just anticipated, I have a long path that led me to the positions I'm having now. I'm very glad to be with you. I'm very glad to be able to help you in giving you an overview of how things can happen by chance or by coincidence or by
Yeah.
fate, and everything goes together in the perfect way. Hopefully, we always hope we're going for the best path. I work in emergency mainly at the moment. I have to say that even during my PhD, I finished my PhD 5 years ago. I was always interested in humanitarian crisis, human rights, and topics that were affecting the most vulnerable people in the world. Especially during my PhD, it was children in affected areas, victims of human trafficking and sexual trafficking. That were like abused and they were not able to defend themselves. So this was one of the topic of my PhD, and then after that I spontaneously was selected when I started applying in the UN, in positions that were like always at the service of the most vulnerable populations. So the first experience was in South Sudan, and then in Congo, Tanzania, and I was working in two areas. I've been working in two areas. I'm still working in two areas. One is education in emergencies, and with UNICEF, especially with the program that is called Education Cannot Wait. And another one is health emergencies, global health emergencies, in particular on pandemic and epidemic prevention. I don't know if Mahbub, do you want to take the floor and format any questions, propose any questions or any
Yeah, yeah,
interaction?
yeah, definitely. So basically we try to get back and also want to share the story of university life, because like most of our audience, they are studying at university now. So how was your university life, and what did you do your study, and apart from activities apart from your study, and how your university life was in nutshell, and what skills you developed during your university life that you believe.
Okay, thank you. I'm very happy to help students. Okay, I have to say I have been a very good student all over my path. I had in mind I needed to achieve some I had to keep very good, very good grades in order to be able to be successful in my field of work in the future. The reason I had to do that is because I didn't know anyone in my field of interest. I didn't have any parent, friend, colleagues who were gonna work in that area, working in that area. I was like, when I enrolled in a communication school first, I was a young student. I had no friends, no family, no people who could help me. So the only thing my mother told me, my mother is a sports champion, a world sports champion. Before having me as a child, she was a taekwondo champion. And she told me, you need to be aware that will is power, and you need to be the best student, one of the best students. So if you will be one of the best students all over your university path, then you will have you will have a voice, you will be able to learn, you will have learned from your professors. And she was always telling me also, please follow your professors' advices, especially the most influential ones, the leaders of the university. They're going to help you. They can be already in the field of your work where you're interested in working. And this can also help you a lot. So I have to say that I've been like a very good student. This opened me so many doors because, for example, I was applying for grants. Every time I was applying for grants, I was awarded the grants many times, or I was in touch with the best students, and the best students, they were also helping me in keeping a high level of motivation. And sometimes they were like helping me even in passing some exams because they were more prepared than me in some cases. And but I have to say that, yeah, I was a very good student, but this didn't come with like that easily, you know. It was a very tough path for a simple reason. You don't know how to manage your fatigue, you don't know how to manage your stress, you are like always under stress before the exams, you don't know if you will achieve the best grade, you will have the best grades, you don't want to refuse a grade if it's not the level you want. But I strongly believe that when we have a goal in mind, we will achieve it. So I had in mind I needed to have a certain average in order to then achieve the grade I wanted, to go to the best universities. And so even if it was tough, I was like really determined. So determination is a key aspect. Sometimes my determination was very, very tough for me to the best moment was when I was following the courses. I could learn, I could meet students, I could like have a more flexible schedule in studying. But when there was the months, when during the months when we were supposed to prepare the exams, those were like very, very tough moments, I remember. On the other hand, there is also the fun side of the university path and I was very lucky in this sense. I mean, I had to fight for that. It's lucky, but it's that I've been lucky, but I've also been a fighter. So I wanted to really do something that creative, that I loved, and this has been very difficult to let other people accept, because some people thought, oh no, you're not good. This is not an easy field. This is too creative. This is too artistic. You're not gonna be able to succeed in this field. So what you should do in order to keep up your motivation is to enjoy and go toward the direction that you love the most, because that will help you a lot in keeping your motivation high and to succeed more easily. So somehow, yeah, there is it's very well known that following our dreams helps us a lot. And so somehow I had a vision of what I wanted or what I liked. I always wanted to use communication for human rights, to defend people, to defend especially the most at risk and vulnerable people. I had this mission very clear in mind since the beginning. wanted to change the media landscape. I wanted the media landscape to be more meant for good causes, to be more like let's say educational somehow. Of course, this is something that somehow is a battle that I'm still like fighting. Like I'm still is like still an ongoing process, because as you know, the media landscape is not that perfect still, and needs a lot of work from our side. But I still keep that mission in my work, and every offer I accept, every job offer I accept, every proposal I accept, including this speech, goes in that direction. Goes in the direction to empower even more and more people to do the good through media and communication, and help as many people as possible. So thank you, Mahbub, for the invitation, and thank you for
Yeah,
everyone for being here.
you're welcome, and thank you. Like through your schedule, you worked hard to share your story also, because like managing time, we are from different country, managing time schedule, everything, like all the questions and how we can conduct. It's your the thing that you said, that if you have a goal in mind and you want to do good, this is the example, like through your schedule. And it is also an example. It doesn't matter whether you are you are in work or whatever you do, you're so busy. If you want to like give something back to the world or to the community, it's possible with the invention of this, like internet, and through this, like through the online platform. You are sitting in another country, and you are sharing your stories to inspire youths of Bangladesh, and to show a path to the students of universities in Bangladesh. So it's the thing, the willpower, and it's about this, inside a human being, how noble you are by sharing your story. It's like passing information, you know so that this will help and empower students to take their decision more efficiently. So the thing is that one thing you mentioned is very important, that you had a goal in mind, whatever you wanted to do. So the main sometimes one of the problem here is uh, some university students, like they mostly take some, when they're a student, they take wrong decisions. Like they invest their time in unproductive activities, whether maybe they should have like work on business ideas, business cases, or doing something for the community, solving social problems as their one of their responsibilities, because they're in universities, they're learning things, like that some of the people may not have access to. So the main problem is, most of the cases, they don't have any goal, career goal, what they want to do after their graduation. So this is just like an awareness session, that how people think, how people thought when they were a student, and how did they start all the journey. So it's just like like a contribution and information sharing session for the students. So like it's like opening their eyes. So the thing is, like in university, you learned a lot, and it's actually common for all to like listen to the what professors are saying, because they know their field, the thing that you mentioned. It's very important. So attentive to their study is very important. Like here, mostly they misuse their time using social medias to for very often, and doing unproductive things. So like their main responsibility is to study. So it's very important. So after your university life, how did you start? Because you are an entrepreneur, you are into teaching profession, and you are into humanitarian field. So this is different sector. So how did you start your career? It would be very great to know.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Mahbub. So, what happened is that I had studied in very expensive economies, where it was very difficult to be a student, like Milan, Rome, Paris, and And my father, who was not very supportive of my choices and decisions, because he has a very traditional mindset on the women role in society. So he believes that women should have a part-time job or like a teacher, and they should not like have a too busy agenda. So he didn't want to really support, after my education ended, my efforts to start working. So it was like, okay, now it's up to you, and it's up to you to start your career. And I was like, oh my God, I've been studying, I've been the best student, but now I really don't know where to start from. And I had some savings because I had won a grant, but still I needed to return to my family house. Was like 13 years ago, in a like more remote area compared to the urban settings and more expensive settings where I had been studying, with much less opportunities. And I was like in a very difficult moment, but I was full of enthusiasm. I was like, enthusiasm was always a key characteristic of my personality. And I really loved my job. So what I could do, what I had learned. So I knew that even if I was in a remote area, I could give something to the local economy, to the people, etc. And yeah, it's strange to tell you, but I mean, it will sound strange to you, but in that period there was also a crisis in Italy, an economic crisis, a financial crisis. It was difficult to get paid jobs for students who just ended their master degree, and I felt I was like the most experienced professional in the world. I was so arrogant as a young student, but I was also aware of the situation outside there that was so challenging. Because of that, the first job I accepted was as an accountant to sell advertising spaces with old people. My colleagues were all people with no degree, but they were people who knew the rules of life, they knew the rules of the street, and in a few months, they taught me so much. They taught me so much that then I said, oh, you know what, the market is wild, let's say. Everything can happen in the market, and I think I have to reinvent myself. I'm not anymore a student. I can be a young entrepreneur, and I can sell whatever I've learned during my university path. And my main goal in that period was my autonomy, because I absolutely wanted to escape my father's house. I couldn't stay there anymore, and I was like, no, I need to escape. Even if I will be in a small room in any other place, I don't want to be with my family anymore with this traditional mindset. I want to be independent, a woman. And so because of that, I started that career. And after a very few months, the clients that were all entrepreneurs who were working in the local market, they were asking me, oh, can you produce me a video? Can you produce me la la? So they were expressing me their needs. And this is how in 2 years I built a small company, a small like startup, let's say, in communication, that became like very like quite successful. Many people knew me, and they still remember me. And at the same time, in my free time, I was also developing a project that was in rural development, because my father had the land that was abandoned, and I said, okay, this land is abandoned, it's such a pity, let's try to develop it. And I will tell you, the whole experience was successful, but that project was never developed, because then I decided to leave. Because what happened is that after these 2 years of experience, I had some savings, because I was successful as an entrepreneur, and I went back to my initial call. My call was to help people. My call was to study, and so I decided, okay, let me go to Paris. Let me finish my second master degree in sociological research. The first one was on multimedia production. And with multimedia production, I could be the self-entrepreneur in communication. And then I said, no, I want to still use also research skills. And so I completed remotely a master degree in sociological research in Paris. I was going sometimes with my savings in Paris to meet the professor. I didn't have that much money, but I was trying to save as much money as possible. I was going in the hostels. I was trying to pay the cheapest flights. paying food in the supermarket to not to waste the money I was trying to make with my self-entrepreneurs activity. And finally, when I collected enough money, I said, okay, now I will enroll in a PhD. So I enrolled in a PhD that was also self-funded, because I thought, oh, I think I will continue my self-entrepreneurship, because it's too risky to be a PhD student in Paris. For this might take too long. I might not be able to achieve the final goal, and the research grant was not very well paid in Paris. So I said, I might not be able to support to sustain myself and to achieve the PhD. So for this reason, I kept my doors open. I said, okay, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna study as a PhD student, and at the same time, I'm gonna work, which I will tell you is very difficult to do. It was like a crazy path. It was a crazy plan of my mind. I thought it was possible, but it was not really possible to study and work at the same time. But I still started it, I started the PhD and kept it and finished it. So what happened is that then another offer after this communication experience I had as an entrepreneur, then I closed my company. When I started the PhD, after a few months, I closed the company, because what happened is that I had, for my development project, the one in rural development that I mentioned, I needed some funding. I didn't have funding. And I noticed that the European Commission had some funding for development of rural areas also. So I said, okay, let me apply for an internship in the European Commission. I applied for an internship, and because I was enrolled in a PhD, I could attend it. And I went to Luxembourg. I will tell you, as an intern, you are paid, at that time, I was paid 1,000 euros per month, which in Luxembourg is really not enough. Is not enough because it's one of the most expensive economies in the world. But I still accepted. I knew that worst case scenario, you go back home, you go back to your father, right? You go back to your family, and you will restart.
But
I was always
you were a fighter.
yeah. If you fail, then you will find a way. Anyway, there will be a solution in all cases. And I was hosted in Luxembourg by the nuns, by Catholic nuns, they had the best location in town. It was in the center. It was cheapest, but it was for only women. And there were a lot of rules to respect, which was so difficult for me to do. But still, it was a very helpful environment to conclude also that experience. And after that, 1 year later, I could win a very good grant for my PhD, which was a Marie Curie, which is the most important grant in Europe for PhD students. And when I won that, then my career started, let's say, in the international, well, in that sense, it was not international development, because what the European Commission was more international research in that period. But that also opened the door of international development, because the topic of the PhD thesis was on human rights, and especially children protection, on human trafficking and sexual trafficking. So yeah, this is how everything started. Let's say a lot of attempts, a lot of failure, but a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of joy in the path. And a lot of economy.
Great.
You need to manage your economy.
Yeah, and it is visible, to that whatever the situation or whatever you did during that time, if you wanted to find a way, you researched well, and you knew what you wanted as outcome. So, which is very important. I mean, you explored city, you took risk, to explore and try different paths and what you wanted to do. It's very important. And sometimes here, a group of students, they say there is no job in the market, there is job crisis, whereas um, job market, they lack skilled human resources. So this is the gap. A group of students, they think that there is no job, but actually there is so many jobs available in the market, but lack skilled workforce or employ human resources. So the thing is, if whoever is doing research and develop themselves, develop some skills, they are getting good jobs, and they are flourishing in their career. So the thing is, that's why I wanted to relate this like this journey, that anyway, like professionals and students, they should study, do research on based on their requirement, what they want to do. So it's very important. And also, just with relation to your journey, uh, people should explore their boundary. Like Bangladesh, this is not the only market. They should explore the world. They should explore the world job market. So this is very important. I know, like a broad mindset, and like the thing that you mentioned, the goal they should have. So also, and can you share a little bit, why did you receive that grant, and why did they give you that prestigious grant? What was your, like, how did you impress them with your idea?
I'm sorry, Mavu, there was an interruption of internet. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. You were talking about the Mercury fund or grant,
Yeah.
right? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Mhm.
So why did they give you this grant? What was the reason behind it? Can you share a little bit, so that it would be good to know the reason behind giving you the grant? How did you impress them?
Can you hear me? I don't know because I see some interruptions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Can you share the story of receiving that fund, Mercury fund, your Mercury grant?
Yeah. Yeah, that grant was like quite a surprise, let's say. I was like struggling a lot with the PhD. Started when I started this PhD without a grant. I realized how expensive life in Paris was, and I was looking desperately for grants. I was like applying everywhere, like in all foundations, wherever there was like a funding for PhD students. I was applying, but I knew there was a deadline in Paris. In Paris and in the French academy, I mean, in the French system, you had only 1 year after the beginning of the PhD to get a grant. So at the end of the first year, I didn't get the grant because I had been in Luxembourg. I had been busy in the European Commission as an intern and a Blue Book trainee, actually it's called. So I didn't when I returned home. I was like, oh, now the year is over. The French landscape is not available for me. And at some point, I was trying to help the my boyfriend of the time to get a grant for him, not for me. And finally, at the end of I remember it was really the last page of a long series, like it was probably 25 pages, and it was like the last page of 25 pages. I saw this grant, it was really on my research topics. With the professor that was related to my professor in Paris in terms of academic background. It was like Serge Moscovici, it's called. It was a theory that I had already partially explored. It was such a coincidence, let's say, that I read all the grants for my boyfriend until last 25 to page 25, and that I find this perfect grant for me. And so what I did, it was in Italy, the grant. I was in that period, I had been in France and Luxembourg. uh, so I wasn't I had the requirements to apply for that grant, and I contacted the professor. The professor was an Italian professor in Rome, and when she met me, she felt in love with me because I had told her I would like to apply. I'm already in a PhD. I don't know whether this is possible, and when she met me, she felt in love with me because she saw how many connections we had, how much I was the perfect candidate for that position, up to the point that 6 months later, when I mean, the results of the selection were published, and I was like selected, and I started the working with her. First of all, I was the first candidate. I was the first selected candidate, and all her love and her passion toward me was clearly expressed. She really wanted me to be her the leader of the project. Unfortunately, I didn't see myself as the leader of that project. So we didn't have the same plan, which didn't let us have the best relationship. And this is something that unfortunately I had to learn in my life, that you will not always find the best supervisors, you will not always find the best managers. And in this case, that experience was a bit challenging, because the professor I won the funding, but the expectation of the professor were not to make me a global leader, but was to make me the leader of her own projects, which was something I absolutely didn't want, because I was feeling connected to the humanity outside there. I was feeling I still needed to help children. I still needed to advocate for human rights. And her plan to let me teach in her wonderful research center. She had a beautiful research center. She wanted me to lead this research center. She had all a plan in mind for my future, because she was retiring and she really wanted to have one of her students to become her inherit her research center. And I refused. I said, no, this is something amazing, it's beautiful, but it's not a gift I can accept. I'm sorry. And I feel that I belong to something else. I believe to something different, higher, elsewhere. And so I asked her to, and I tried to, of course, convince the European Commission and colleagues, etc., which was like tough, not PhD thesis, because I really believed that thesis was much needed. And I have to say that it's now I'm working in WHO, and I'm working on similar topics I've been working on during my PhD. So if I'm in WHO, is also thanks to that work I had done for so many years, and even to thank to that professor who loved me so much and wanted me in her project. So after many years, I have to say thank you again for giving me the opportunity, because even the worst managers that will try to, they will give you hard times, but only the fact that they chose you gave you an opportunity, and you need to be grateful for that.
Definitely, and it's so many things to learn during these scenarios and situation, how to handle it's like crisis management, and also this is a very clear that when to say no. Maybe the thing that you mentioned, that it was like inherit that research center. It seemed really amazing and wow during that time, but you said no and you chose your path, because like you were stick to your goal, what you wanted to do. So the thing is, when to say no is very important. It's a very big skill during in our professional life. So I want to ask you another question, which is, you are fluent in English, French, Spanish, Portuguese. So how like learning these languages have helped you in your professional career? What do you think? And why did you learn those languages?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not fluent in Portuguese. I'm still like basic in Portuguese. I'm fluent in Italian because it's my mother tongue, and then yes, English, French, Spanish. So every one day, never think about that. You will have many years to improve. So your brain will absorb progressively all the information needed to learn a language. So I was lucky because, again, my mom, she had a vision. She believed that her children should learn English because Italian was not enough, and she really wanted. She had the feeling that English could open more doors, could open the doors of the world. For this reason, I studied English since I was very young, as many of you, I guess, because I think in Bangladesh, many of you study English too. So I was like quite advanced compared to other Italian students, which was a great privilege and an advantage, a big advantage in my life. But I have to say that I had also, I mean, it was a bit of a natural vocation toward languages, because I love communicating, I love talking. So I was like learning and practicing, because I was always trying to connect with international students, people abroad, in order to practice. Which is something didn't happen with all people I know that studied English since childhood. So this was like something that was a gift from my mom, and a great vision, and also a sort of vocation, a natural vocation. Then what happened is that when in Europe there is a program that is called Erasmus program, which is like that let students, young students, go abroad for 1 year or like 6 months to study during the university, to studying abroad during the university. What happened is that I wanted to go to Spain. I didn't want to go to France because Spain looked more fun. But I know my personality. I thought, okay, I'm in Rome and I'm going to study English. One day, okay, better to go to France, because in Paris the kind of way of socializing might be a bit more like less party oriented, and I would like more like I will be able to study more. So this was my prejudice as a young student, and I had to say that when I arrived in France, anyway, in Paris, all my friends were Spanish anyway. Most of my friends were Spanish, Italian, Brazilians, and yeah, they were invited me for lots of parties, but I struggled to study hard in France. You know, the climate was cold. It was cold. It was like people were like professors were quite strict and more severe, and because of that environment, I was very motivated to study. And I have to say that I arrived there as a young student, as a young student at Erasmus in that university, at the Sorbonne University, and in that same university, I concluded my PhD. And after my PhD, they like actually all PhD students become associate researcher to the research center. So I'm still a member of a research center in the same universities where I arrived 17 years ago. So that experience was again probably in my destiny. I don't know. I think it was, and also another coincidence is that that school was the School of Medicine of the Sorbonne University, and I can tell you at that time I didn't want to study medicine. I was studying social sciences, communication. I liked something else. Yes, I had the ethical positioning toward human rights, but I didn't know that health would have been my future. And then it happened that health would fit me very well, actually, because I'm also a very health. I really love healthy habits, healthy lifestyle. This is something I've always had which was something that also helped me a lot during my student life, because since I had these healthy habits and I was very strict with my habits. This helped me in keeping a sort of self-discipline, which is very important during university.
Definitely, and also, like most of the cases here, students they skip their breakfast sometimes and take some unhealthy foods, and that's how they got the distraction, got they distracted. The focus is not on point. So this is very important, like to look after, to have a healthy lifestyle. It's very important, like being a student. If their health is not good, they cannot be attentive in their study. And I want to explore another thing, which is you have some additional, you did some additional training, like your Adobe certified specialist, you had training on project cycle management, excellence training course. So, like, I'd like to ask you, you know a lot, you studied a lot here. So, what is why it is so important to have a professional training course? Because why I'm asking, here there's some professionals. Some of them think that like, can you hear me?
Sorry,
Hello.
Mahbub, there was an interruption again.
No, no,
Can
it's
you
all
repeat?
right. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great. So I'm just trying to ask, how do you see it? I mean, having professional training, because like some of the professionals, they think, oh, I have got the job and I don't have to study anymore. Like I don't have to develop myself. I'll just do my job and I will just retire from my work. But sometimes it actually let them stuck in their career. So but you had wonderful training, like professional training, additional training apart from your profession. So why it is so important to explore, like something professional related to to our work, how it helped us. Can you share the importance of doing this kind of professional training or courses?
Yeah, in WHO and in the United Nations, you are like obliged to take training, professional training, all over your career. You cannot stop learning, and the reason is because the world outside is changing. You cannot like keep your university degree from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's outdated. You need to update yourself. You need to update with what is happening outside, with digital advances, with technology, with like new rules, new laws, new approaches in psychology, in dealing with other people, in improving. So we really need to have this approach of like humility and self-development, that we want always to improve ourselves and learn as much as possible. That's really key to grow in our careers. Believing that we can like with our degree, that our degree, university degree, is enough for like our career, is very naive, and it's something we believe when we are really tired of studying, we're like lazy, we have been working hard and we don't want to continue studying. But it's like such a gift to have the opportunity to keep on studying during the university. And some organizations are more like empowering of their employees, so they like all sort of really force them in some cases like to attend training. In our case, we have due trainings, like yeah, like I have due trainings in 1 month, in 2 months, and if by that day I'm not done, they will write me an email to remind me to attend the training,
Yeah,
because it's
happens.
mandatory one,
Yeah.
you know. So some organizations are more like, let's say, open to that approach. Others might be more like less careful of employees. That's not, of course, the WHO, but there are organizations that might be less careful, and still the employees themselves should find a way to update themselves and find the time to keep a high outside the small world of the tasks, the skills that they already have learned. Very honestly, personally, I get easily bored out of what I'm learning and what I'm doing. I can do a project, it's very successful, and after a while I'm thinking, okay, now it's successful, I give it to someone else and I pass to a new project. So I'm not like, I really like to learn. I really like to, now we are doing project with artificial intelligence, and we went to summit. There is also a nice way to learn, which might be, for example, attending conferences, attending summits, attending events where knowledge sharing is much more like lively, interactive, and it's also fun, let's say.
Great. We are almost at the end of our session. There's so many things to discuss, but we have the time limitation. Uh, you have seen a lot. You have transformed among industries. You have traveled countries. You have seen different people from different countries. You work with youth students. So, all through your journey and your experiences, through your life experiences, uh, can you share some advice from your perspective, and for students during their university life, how they can uh, best utilize their time? They can develop themselves. How they can learn more during their university life, so that they can start their professional career early after their graduation, and what skills they should develop during their university life.
Yeah. So I think that they need to follow their call. they need to understand what are the things they like the most, they're more skilled at, and go in that direction as much as possible. They need to try to interact as much as with the real world, so with professionals and professors who might explain them how the real world is in the sector they're interested and talented. They needed to follow their talents, but most of all they really need to keep a very healthy approach to their mind and body. So it's their mind, they need to keep a high motivation and a high level of energy and positivity toward what they're doing. It's very important to enjoy the path, enjoy the journey. You need to keep a positive attitude, you need to be determined, you need to be to make your best by always enjoying. And healthy, I mean, like whatever is an unhealthy habit, I don't know, spending too much time on social media, eating too much junk food, going at night, late at night, and being too tired the day after. I mean, I don't want to be your mom, but that's very helpful for you to keep your body healthy and sporty, and so make sports and eat as much healthy as possible, because you are this whatever, all the food you will use, all the energy you will create through your body will have an impact on your success in the day after. And it is a day by day achievement. You need to look at your life as every day needs to be successful. Every day you need to be successful. You need to be grateful for every day of your life the way it is, and say thank you, because you have this opportunity. You have the opportunity to be at university. Others don't have this opportunity. You have the opportunity to make a change in your life. You have the opportunity to learn. For all these things, you need to be grateful. And gratefulness can be expressed also through healthy behaviors. So love yourself and give as much as possible of your talent to the world, because the world is waiting for you. And for sure, you can make a difference. And I really hope that some students connected and or listening to to my story, that thanks to Mahbub is now here online, can make a difference in Bangladesh or worldwide. Because I can tell you, all my achievements, I couldn't even imagine that those were possible 20 years ago. If someone told me when I was 19 years old, student, one day you will be working in Geneva in WHO, I would have said, not possible. That's not possible. No, I don't believe you. And it's possible. Anything is possible. So just believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, work hard, take care of yourself, and the world will open huge doors for your future.
Thank you so much. This is very important, and anyone from anywhere can connect to this advice, to the suggestion, because uh, if we actually love ourselves, we'll lead a healthy lifestyle, and we will explore, we will study, and whatever we are learning through our journey, uh, if we give our learnings, lessons back to the who is following us, or who are in the university life or community, who are in need of this information, or who we don't know, whoever is going to be uh, benefited through our information or journey lessons. So this is very important, the way we want to see our life is very important. And it's not about whatever country we are in, we can create impact in anywhere in the world, the thing that you mentioned. And Dr. Agnese, thank you so much for your time. And because your profile is so, it's huge and impressive, and within the short period of time, we wanted to learn as much insightful information as possible, so that it will be helpful for the students. And thank you so much for your valuable time and insightful session, which is going to open eyes for a lot of students in Bangladesh.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Mabu.
Okay, have a great day.
Yes.